Today I'd like to talk about VSOs, which are Veteran Service Organizations. There's a lot of different types of VSOs out there, but the thing is not all of them do the same things, and not all of them accept everybody. Let's use an example here. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, more commonly referred to as the VFW, is only for people who served in war, as versus the American Legion, who's pretty family friendly, or the DAV, which specializes in helping disabled American veterans, as the name implies. The thing is you have to find one that you're comfortable with. This, assuming that you qualify to use them. The thing is a lot of different VSOs, some of them are great in one area of the country, and then you move to a different area and you're not satisfied with their services. There's really no combating that, but the thing is that's why you just test them all out. The thing that you want to keep in mind, though, is that at the end of the day, you want to use either a VSO, a County Veteran Benefit Coordinator, a VA social worker to handle your claims. My thing is I'm not particularly a fan of veterans filing their claims on their own, because the fact is by being part of one of these organizations, being a VSO, the more people that are attached to them, more members that they have, the more of a voice they end up having in Washington, because they can go to their constituents, they can go up to Washington, they have people who do these jobs, and they can say, look, we represent 2, 3, 4 million veterans at a time. Now there's hundreds of VSOs. If you're a paralyzed veteran, use the Paralyzed Veterans of America, or if you have a Purple Heart from an injury in combat, you can use the Military Order of the Purple Heart. My thing is I just want everybody to use somebody, because you don't want to handle all of these things on your own. The person who tries to handle them on their own tends to get in over their heads so quickly, because of the fact that all of the laws that govern military issues, whether it be disability or, buying a home through using a VA loan, anything and everything having to deal with veterans is under Title 38. Well, those veteran service officers that work for these organizations, they understand Title 38. That's their job. You can do a different job in this world, but that doesn't necessarily mean you speak Title 38. You have to keep in mind, Title 38 is over 8,000 pages long, and I'm willing to bet you that most of the people who are watching this have never read it. And it has its own terminology, its own way of thinking. You need somebody who, with the experience and the know-how and the desire, somebody who wants to work with veterans, who understands what they're doing with these things, that can go ahead and explain it to you, how the law is governing it under Title 38, and as well how to do the paperwork properly. That's the key, is properly. Anybody can fill out their own paperwork. It doesn't mean that it's going to help because it's not done properly. These VSOs, they know how to do it properly, for the most part. Then they have bosses who do nothing but look over the paperwork, or if problems come up, or if there's a question, they have the resources available to help with the issues. Now, if you don't want to use a VSO, I would suggest you at least use a County Veteran Benefit Coordinator. I particularly like them, and that's who I use. Reason being is that they're a neutral outside party. They're not paid by a VSO, they're not paid by the VA, and they come in and they work for the county to help, but at the same time they get all the proper training to be accredited so that they can handle the paperwork and do it right. The big thing is knowing the tools that are out there and using those tools. If you're not using those tools, you're setting yourself up for failure. Some people like to use VA social workers, and I tend to shy away from them myself, because of the fact that they're in a VA facility, they work for the VA, they kind of have the VA's best interest at heart at times. Not saying all of them, but I've seen some of them that do. That's particularly why I like to use ones that have they're completely neutral to the scenario and to your issues. That way they can think clearly. Yes, at times they're hard to get in touch with, but at the same time, I'm not here to make friends. I have friends in this world. I'm here to get the job done. I'm here to make sure that the person that's filing my paperwork knows what they're doing, has the experience. If you don't have one of those, or if you're not satisfied, then switch them. Now, I don't suggest you switch them halfway through your claim. If your claim comes back denied, Then switch them before you file your appeal or your notice of disagreement. Switch in between rounds. A lot of times these claims turn into 12 and 18 round fights. I always suggest waiting until you're in between rounds, then you find somebody who's competent that can replace the part that's not doing their job correctly. Now, how do you find one that's worth their weight in salt? That is pretty easy, actually. If you live in a bigger area, chances are you have more different types of VSOs, you have more facilities. People who live, what I always suggest to people is real simple. Whether you're in a grocery store, at a gas station, wherever, you could be waiting for the movie to start. It really makes no difference. What I suggest to you is you ask other vets who are wearing a hat, say something like this. Find a different vet, ask them. You can see their license plates. A lot of times we just wear shirts that say, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, Air Force, Marines, whatever. Find another vet, ask them. One inevitable fact that I've always found is that vets don't lie about these things. If a vet has been done really badly by a VSO or a county veteran benefit coordinator or whomever filed their paperwork, if they got done wrong, they'll tell you they got done wrong. They have no vested interest in this. Now, say they have one that's really good. That's great. That's who you want to use. We as veterans, it's kind of like with cars. We'll tell you if our car is not good. We'll tell you if our car is great, because that's the way we are. I've literally had people drive from 2 to 3 states away just to come meet the person that handles my claims. And in turn, they walked away happy and said, wow, this person really knew their stuff. That's the thing. You want somebody who really knows their stuff. You don't want just your average person. You don't want to do it yourself. You don't want a family member to do it. And you don't want somebody who genuinely doesn't care. You want somebody who knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, knows all the laws. You can ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them how long they've been doing this job. Now, at the same time, that can work out badly because sometimes people who have been doing it for 10 to 15 years tend to get burned out. That's why you want to rely on other veterans to be able to say, hey, how did they do me? Because they could be the smartest person in the world at this stuff, but if they're burned out, they're still going to sink your case. Keep in mind, a good VSO can take 6 months off of the amount of time it takes to win your case. A bad VSO can add 4 years to it. That is why you want to find one that knows what they're doing. Thank you.